Hey folks, welcome back to BATTLEMODE. I'm BATTLEMODE. Now, I want to make this video for two reasons. Partly because Slitherine have very kindly given me access to the Through the Mirror DLC a little bit ahead of time. At least I think it's not coming out for a little while. The other reason is because Rob started a series kind of looking at this as well. You know, to kind of show off the DLC content, and Rob kind of critiqued the game. And I feel really differently to Rob about this game. I think he's kind of got it all wrong, and I mean this with all due respect. Right, Rob's my mate, you know, and we disagree about games all the time, and this is by far, like, you know, one of the games that we have disagreed about probably the most recently. But still, just as a heads up, I couldn't be bothered to do a scripted video. What I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to play it. I'm just going to play the game through a little bit. Just going to keep it on all the settings that I usually keep it on. I'm not going to do a scripted video, so this might be a little bit long and rambling. So for those of you who really hate battle mode when he's just doing long videos, turn off now. We're just going to spare you that, okay? I do like to discuss these things in depth. So yeah, this is going to be a game design discussion, I think, at least with, you know, the way that I kind of perceive this, and I want to address some of the points that Rob has made. I think he's right about the game in many ways as well, by the way. I think he's made some really, really good points, and if you've not watched it, go and watch the first episode of the you know, this Through the Mirror series that he's done before. I think you'll find that interesting. I think what I'm going to do is, because I'm supposed to be showing off this new content, I've not really seen anyone play these dwarves yet. By the way, look at this. Now that is how to do a bearded dwarf. If you're gonna do a female bearded dwarf, this is how to do it. She looks great, doesn't she? Like, I normally hate this stuff in other games, but this is thematic. It makes sense here. It didn't make sense in BattleTech, but it makes perfect sense here. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna play as Bianca. Bianca is a blah 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 blah. Yeah, loads of stuff, fluff. She's got a bit of a weird spell book. I think this is going to be a really difficult character to play, I gotta tell you. Yeah, this is going to be a really difficult character to play. Now, I don't think I'm going to finish this series, by the way. I'm just going to play this a little while, so it doesn't really matter. So what's the point of this character? Right, she starts on Myrror. Okay, she's also a stonemason, so all buildings get a stone wall, and they've all got the engineer skill. All of the units of the wizard's starting race have the skill engineer. That's not a great use of a pick, in my opinion. Rune Master. Enchanted runes carved by the wizard allow for the power of all dispel magic type spells to be doubled. In addition, this trait reduces the spell research time and cost of arcane spells by 25%. Yeah, this is a very... Okay, so, like, having looked at these characters, by the way, for this Through the Mirror thing, I do think that these are hard mode. I think they're supposed to be. I mean, Myrror is supposed to be hard. It's a difficult challenge at the start of the game, and then, you know, kind of, some people think it gets easier once you get out onto the, you know, into the other realm. I think that traditionally that's how Master of Magic worked. It was kind of hard at the start, and then it became very easy because you just basically got the whole of Mirror to yourself. Caster of Magic plays kind of differently now, at least Caster of Magic for Windows. But yeah, this guy's also, look, 8 life books. You see this Korak's, by the way, beautiful character art. I love this. This is really, I think the character art in this game has grown on me. I don't like Tlaloc. It's just Tlaloc that just looks bad. It doesn't look bad. It's wonderful art. Again, I don't know. He just looks like a crackhead. Said that before. Sorry, Muha. I think this artwork's wonderful though, and yeah, but I do think that these are some strange book choices, to be honest. And I think that this is kind of difficult mode. Like 8 nature spell books is kind of bad. You know, but let's go with one of these guys anyway. I'm just going to play with her anyway. This is really this is going to be difficult. I'm not very good at Myrror anyway, and just having such a weak starting spell set is going to be quite challenging, I think. Okay, what do we want to take at the start? We've got nature. So it's interesting because you've got 3 spell books. You've got to really carefully consider the way that your spells work. So I'm going to start addressing some of Rob's criticism straight away while I'm doing this. What do we want? We only get 1 guaranteed spell. I think if we get a guaranteed spell, I want resist elements. This is just really important with this one, so we'll go with that one. With Chaos, Fire Elemental is a very good spell. Whether it'll be good on Myrror or not, I don't know. Shatter's very good. Although, we get Warp Wood. Nature, I forget now. Having a direct damage spell might be helpful. Oh yeah, sorry. Warp Wood's Chaos. Alright, okay. What's this one then? Units melee, strength and strength. Okay, right, that just damages the weapon strength, that's right. We're going to get a decent amount of summons already. Any good? No, because we're going to be coming up against things like Dark Elves and that, aren't we? Alright. Let's just go with Hellhounds. I'll just take a fairly generic kind of chaos sort of build. Okay, we've got more spellbooks in sorcery. So Infusion's a very good spell. So is Phantom Warriors. True Dispel Magic's really, really nice, and I think my character gets a bonus to that as well. So magic. We'll go with Nagas. Nagas at least enabled us to get over the sea. You could probably look at that a little bit more carefully and come up with some nice way of playing it. Since we're on Mirror, we probably want to play with the Mirroring race. And it'd be thematic to play with the Dwarves. I don't think I've ever played with these guys, by the way. So these got a really slow growth rate, which is, yeah, I'm not going to finish this game. Because one of the critiques that I've got about this game, that Rob is dead right about, by the way, is that this game pacing is really, really slow in base game Master of Magic. And I'm not in love with it, I've got to tell you. I don't know if Castro actually did increase growth rate or not, but it feels like it does. At least with the way that the game plays, it feels a lot quicker. Now, I do need to go and test that to make sure, but at least in this game feels kind of slow. Drexy's also been playing it, and he also made the same critique. That's Drexy from the podcast, by the way. We can't build Parthenons, shipyards, stables, or universities yet. This is kind of, you know, restrictive too. They can't really build a whole lot either. Now, we do get +4 resistance. That's huge. +2 hits is pretty good. You know, they take a lot more to produce, but we do get increased mineral and mining bonuses from taxed gold. Okay, and we get more production per worker. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how these work. So we are Bianca, the dwarf. So I think, right, to address the comment that Master of Magic is an old game, that's very true. It's 30 years old, but I'd invite the reader or the listener to consider, why would you remake a 30-year-old game? Right? For a start, you've got to have an audience for that kind of game in the first place. And the fact that people are still playing Master of Magic 30 years on. And I didn't even come to Master of Magic, right, until about 2016 or 2017. It was when before I went to university. So I was playing Master of Magic ages ago. And so I don't have any nostalgia for this game at all, okay? This is not a nostalgic game for me. I didn't play it the first time round. I didn't play Master of Orion the first time round either. The Syntax games just passed me by, man. I played Civilization, like, first time round, the very first one, and Civ 2. And this game's kind of close to Civ 1. Somewhere, you know, it's kind of like Civ 1 in some respects, but it plays very differently to that too. So, yes, it is an old game. It does have the city spam thing. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I'm starting to understand how I play 4X games now, and the fact that playing them too quickly ruins them, right? So if you rush through a 4X game, you are going to not enjoy it. I've said this before, but playing 4X games really is like cooking onions, and you cannot do it slow enough. To really appreciate a 4X game, you really want to let it kind of like simmer for a long time. Get into the game, explore what's going on, look at all the mechanics, you know, and just play it slow. Don't rush. There is no rush. I mean, obviously as people get busier and lives get busier, you want to kind of like try and see end game content and stuff, but honestly I think this is part of the reason why a lot of people, they don't get anywhere with Master of Magic, because this game is really, really quite complex. It's way more complex than people give it credit for, and just because the game design is kind of old, it doesn't mean that it's you know, simple or a bad game, or even bad game design. And I just don't agree with with Rob here, where he says that, you know, the whole city spam thing is just outdated. It's just a different kind of game, and it's a kind of it's a 4X for a different kind of person. And I think comparing it to Conquest of EO particularly is just not going to work. Conquest of EO is not even a 4X game. It's an RPG with a strategic layer and a tactical combat system. It's not a 4X. It plays completely differently. And by the way, Conquest of EO is a really good game. Go and play that game. It's great. It is really, really good. Okay, let's have a look at Axholme. This is where we started. Now our population growth is going to be really, really slow. Okay, so the first thing we really want to do is we need to ensure that we're getting more housing. So Sawmill would be nice, because Sawmill gives us a housing bonus. It also gives us a production bonus as well if we've got forest, which we have. But before we can even really get that up, that's going to take quite a long time. Yeah, 12 turns. Now, if we are building Sawmill here, we're going to get 60 population per turn. If we actually go to building housing, we're going to get... Sorry, let me just remove that out of the chain. We're actually going to get 79. So you've got to kind of think at the start, you know, there is sort of a... Depending on where you are, there's sort of an optimum build, right? You want to kind of maximize your housing. But there are other things to consider, like, you know, getting a library early enables you to get more research. So yeah, you've got to really think about it. There's more to the city building game in Master of Magic than I think some people are giving it credit for. You know, it's not just build everything everywhere. Master of Orion 2 was worse for that, I think. Although I need to be a little bit careful what I say there, because it's been such a long time since I played Mu 2 now that I feel that any comment that I make on it is going to be kind of wildly inaccurate. But I at least remember it feeling, you know, pretty much you had to build the same crap. And there is that kind of issue in this. But if you're playing this game efficiently, you will be thinking about what you're building. Okay. I'm going to build a sawmill first. I do think that the increase in production is going to be good, and then it will give us a housing bonus. Right, we can't up our workers yet. Now we are going to get excess production. You'll see that our production is actually quite high for a starting city because of these dwarves. All right, what else have we got? We've got dwarven settlers and we've got dwarven swordsmen. We've also got 2 quark crystals here, so these are going to give us power when we've got a miners guild. If we can get a miners guild with the... Can we actually get that as the dwarves? Yes, we can. Okay. I can't remember whether that one came after... I thought that came after the university. Anyway. Alright, we've also got more quark crystals up on this side. We've got... Now, look. This is a nice little start. This is one of the nice things about being in Myrror. You actually get, you know, different kind of ores. So we've got silver ore and we've got gold, so we kind of want to go this way if we can. There's also a chaos node here, pretty strong one as well. We've got a monster layer here, and then let's have a look over this side. We've got another couple of monster layers, and this is silver ore down here. Let's go this way. Let's head out into the center of the map, I think, first. Now at the start of the game you're fairly safe from you know, wandering monsters and that kind of thing. Now, the standard thing for me to do usually is to build a magic spirit. I've stopped doing that now. The reason is because the game gives you one right at the start. What do we got? We got Wandering Island, Warpwood, that's a very good spell. Earthmode's a decent spell. Resist Magic's a very, very good spell. I don't know if we'll need that early. Warpwood might be more useful. Summoning Circle's probably the smartest thing to go for. So let's go for the Summoning Circle first. And now I've forgotten my hotkeys. Alpha 3, Alpha 8, what does this... I don't know if this is... It's like they might have changed some of the tooltips there. First we want to go with mana. I'm not bothered about casting skill for a little while. Hell yeah, let's get out a magic spirit straight away. Yeah, we'll get out a magic spirit. So we'll have at least 2 magic spirits. And we're going to just keep those dwarves on guard. Okay, here's our first spirit summoned up. What we're going to do is going to get this thing down. We'll go the other way with this one. Now, yeah, we got to move a little bit further out. Oh, there's another town this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And there's another, looks like there's another town going this way. I think we're going to have to go the other way, guys. So let's just bring this one back. That's kind of unfortunate. Let's just try and bring it this way. I don't know if we're going to be able to get anything down this way. See what we've got down here. That's nothing. I keep thinking this is something. It's just tree. It's just some kind of decoration. We've got some silver here. Might be a reasonable place to put a city. Just going to keep moving those. Okay, we're getting loads of mana. So that'll do for mana for the time being. I think what we're going to do now is probably switch into just kind of a mix. You want to be getting casting skill quite early, in my opinion. Now, part of my criticism of what Rob was doing was I don't. With all due respect, I feel that Rob hasn't played the game kind of deeply enough to really sort of see its nuance. And I mean absolutely no disrespect. And by the way, Rob, if you're watching, you know that I don't mean any disrespect by that. I do think that sometimes you have a habit of kind of doing what I do as well, by the way. And I know I'm kind of projecting a little bit here, but I think sometimes you play games kind of too quick and you sort of miss the detail in what's going on. And I also understand that if this is not your game, then you're probably not going to want to be able to, you know, put all the time in that sort of somebody who is enjoying it is going to put in, and that's an absolutely fair critique. But I do think that Master of Magic is more complex than people give it credit for. Ah, here we go. Look, we've got a goblin town here. That's interesting. All right, 16 turns now on this sawmill. What's happened here then? That's right, because we've got units out. Okay, we're going to have to. I think I've gone. 240 to buy. I'm going backwards in gold here. Ah, that's why. We've got a rebel. Okay. Easy. He can fix this. So... wow, look at this. They don't have spearmen and swordsman takes so long to build. So we're going to get swordsman up and I think we'll just pay for that. We'll get rid of that rebel and then we'll go back to the sawmill again. The other way of doing this, by the way, and you can do the maths, right, is... You can actually, in fact, what we can do is, we'll just leave it on 20 because we're going to get a rebel now anyway. We might as well get some extra. Yeah, the other way of doing this is to go for housing first. For a few, you know, for like 10 turns, get like 10 turns with the housing up, so you got another population. I don't know really mathematically which one works out the best. Okay, we can get someone. We can get one down here. Look, let's go and see what we can get further down here. Yeah, right. So, and I think that like when I was watching Rob play the combat, for example, he kind of was missing some stuff. And I think that I think the combat's kind of a bit misunderstood generally. Like I was watching Daz Tactic try to explain how the combat works, and even Daz was struggling. And I don't mean like, you know, he wasn't struggling to sort of. He was just kind of not quite sure, you know, like, oh, how many does each figure do all these different attacks? You know, when we were kind of, he's like, okay, is it each figure that does these, rolls these, and then it gets 30% chance for each of these attack die, and then does it defend for, and it is a little bit complex. The rules, the game does explain how it works. This is the thing, right? It looks simple, but under the hood it is quite complex, and there are so many different builds. It takes ages and ages to get used to being able to play Master of Magic. This is one point that Lucid Tactics made on this game when we did our, you know, interview with him, and he basically said the same thing. Like Master of Magic's one of those games that is really not that easy to learn. It kind of puts people off a little bit. I think I'm going to go with the production bonus here. What we got there, that'll be 16. Yeah, we'll put it on that coast there, and then we've at least got a. I think this one might be able to be. No, this one will definitely be able to create boats, assuming that the dwarves can build boats. I missed whether they could or not. So yeah, so oopsie. No, let's sort that out. So where are we? We got to get a farmer up. Yeah, because these guys are taking food as well. Okay. Awkward start. 19 turns now as well. Look. Let's get this other city up as quickly as possible. Yeah, we are going to put this here, I think. And by the way, right, I've just kind of like said to Rob, you know, I said about Rob that he's perhaps not he's not a Master of Magic expert. I'm not either, okay? I'm not trying to make that point. By the way, when I did my really old when I did my Orchestra of Magic playthrough for the Explorminate, I had people on the Realms Beyond forum going, God, who's this guy? This guy sucks. They were really tearing me a new one, like saying how bad I was at the game. So I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm really not. I'm not a particularly good player. But it is, I think you do have to spend some time with this game in order to be able to get really good at it. Nothing here we want, I don't think. Well, actually, if we get some Hellhounds up, we'll cast some Hellhounds. If we get 2 of them, and then we'll go and take this Goblin town, and then just see how that goes. Now, Goblins are an interesting one. They're brand new. I've not really had a look at them yet. They seem to me... Go and have a look. Yeah, they've got lots of... They've got 8 figures. That's what's good about them. But they're weak. They're weak with decent resistance, but they've got 8 figures. I might even be able to beat them with this thing, potentially. I don't think I want to try it, though. Let's go in with the Hellhound and one of these at the same time. Okay, there we go. So we got a Hellhound up. We got some gold here, look. Oh no, this is Chrysex crystals. Okay, wow, that's a good one. 5 power to the nearby town. Awesome. We got a bunch of these as well. We got gold ore here. This would be a nice place to put a town here. But we can't. The problem is because we've got something in Boar Hill. Another Goblin town. Okay. Let's get the... Get these Hellhounds out. Going to go and do a little bit of exploration up this direction. Now sometimes the AI kind of puts towns in crappy places. So depending on your playstyle, you might want to just raise it and then, you know, be a little bit more. Okay, so the whole idea of like this city spam thing is absolutely something that I can understand people being a little bit kind of, you know, not super enthusiastic about. Let's say, I know Rob really doesn't like having to manage too many cities. Now, I've already given people a bit of a clue on how I approach very, very big 4X games, and I've discussed this in other series as well. And I think that the slower you play them, and the more effort you put into kind of immersing yourself into these games, the better. What do we got here? That's an easy one to do. So we've got 2. We can go and take that. It's just 2 skeletons. Slower you play the game, the better. The more you kind of like, you know, do little things like rename your characters, rename your cities. Really kind of examine what all the modifiers and bonuses do. You know, just watch how certain like different people play. If you watch YouTube a lot, there are so many different people who play these games, and they all will have a different style. I'm a bit slow. I'm a bit like I say I like to play games slow, but I can be a bit sloppy sometimes. Here, let's just win this one. Command it personally. So I can be a little bit sloppy sometimes. I admit I make mistakes, but the important point to retain interest in a game is to just kind of immerse yourself in it. And I think Master of Magic is one of those games, but fortunately there's a lot here to get immersed in. Let's get these Hellhounds off. So here's something that like Rob was missing, I think, with the Hellhounds. Yeah, they've got this Fire Breath attack. This is an elemental attack. It's a Chaos unit. This 3 breath attack attacks before it gets into combat, and then it does the melee attack afterwards. Okay, and so this thing is really, really strong. Just watch. See how much damage it just did there. I don't know where we've got the combat log, but look. So, yeah, we did... the Fire Breath actually killed 2 figures at the start. They took 1 hit point back, and then they did the melee attack afterwards, and the melee attack did 4 damage. 6 damage, and that killed 4 figures, okay? So, this is what I mean. You've got to really pay attention to the little details in the game. Like, just pushing the figures around doesn't really work. I really struggled with Master of Magic when I first played it, because I was trying to play it like something like Fallen Enchantress. Let's keep this. Let's get some goblins, because I kind of want to play with goblins and see how they go. Now, these guys will grow fast, by the way, and I think this is going to be a nice counter for the dwarves. So, oh, okay, we've got starvation. Population is declining. Okay, what can we do to fix this quick? Not a lot. Oh, we got 2 rebels, that's the issue. Now, I think what we'll do here is we're gonna have to drop the tax rate. That's pretty rough, and we've still got one rebel. Now, I don't think Hellhound... I think in this game, I don't think that Hellhounds, fantastic units, actually count towards... Yeah, we're still going to be 14 turns here, look. So, experts in this game are already going to be wincing, looking at how long it's going to take for me to get this sawmill out, I think. Probably should have gone with the building first. However, we are still getting 60 per turn, right? I think it was 79 if I remember right. So it is a small increase, a small decrease in growth for not building housing, but the sawmill will help over the long term. Again, I'm not quite sure how those numbers are going to work out if you actually do the number crunching. And I think I've said before, I just don't care about doing that in these games really. I'm not really a min-max player. I'm not a very careful player in that respect. I can be sometimes in certain games. Okay. We checked this one, didn't we? Yeah, that was the skeletons. Let's just go and check in here. Got 2 hellhounds in there. Okay. Sometimes you get lucky and you'll just get... there'll be no guards at all. Okay. Hopefully we can get this sorted before we get too much starvation here. Let's go here. Let's carry on exploring. The other thing that Rob said was he thought that because of city spam it makes the exploration pointless, and I did not understand that comment at all. Like you do need to explore in order to figure out where your enemies are, where all the mana nodes are. Like one thing that will lose you this game, by the way, is if you don't actually take the mana nodes and do exploration. And that was one big problem that I was making in when I was originally playing Caster of Magic. I really kind of undervalued exploring these kind of towers and stuff, because like on the surface they can seem really tough, but once you know the game mechanics a little bit, you can blast it out. Now let's get another hellhound up. I think we seem to have quite a lot of magic, so we're gonna blast some hellhounds out. We'll go and see if we can take this city of Boar Hill here, or this town of Boar Hill. Still got the starvation here. We got a dungeon and we got a mysterious cave. Let's go and have a look in the cave. Bunch of hellhounds, a hydra, and chimeras. Yeah, they're really strong. A bit much for us at the moment. Now, much of my grievances about the game's pacing have kind of been a little bit allayed, I'd say, because they've put in some options to make the overland movement pretty good. Alright, 30% chance of victory, 70% chance of victory. I mean, if we don't... Now, that's if we don't control it ourselves. This is kind of hard to do with just one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wait we're going to wait for this second one to come up. I don't want to lose any hellhounds. I'd like to be able to move them on to take something else next time. In fact, we're going to actually have 3, so it should be fairly easy. There we go, there's the next one up. We've got another chaos node up this way. It's going to be 2 turns till we get these hellhounds up this way too. So this is kind of like one chaos strategy that you can use, is just to spam out hellhounds. This is quite strong. It's quite a strong tactic you can go for. Let's get these guys in here. Alright. Right, we are building housing here now. Let me just check what's going on here. I think it must be that the goblins really don't like the dwarves. I think that might be the issue here. Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere that shows you the racial modifiers between the two. That's one UI thing that I think that Muha really need to add, because it's in Caster. I don't know why they can't put it in here. Unless I'm being dumb and it's somewhere that I'm just, not realizing. Yeah, let's just get these hellhounds back here. Wait is F, isn't it? Oh. Okay, we've got a dark elf spearman. It's going to take food. I'm going to reject that for the time being. I do like the dark elves, are very good. They've got 3 now, look. They've gone from 2 to 3. I don't think they'll be able to get another one up, but I think 3 Hellhounds will absolutely wreck those, so not too worried. Let's have a look in this Chaos node. Chaos Spawn, Hellhounds, Fire Giants, Great Drake. Okay. No, too much for us. Okay, now we can actually jump in here. Get a Goblin Spearman up now. Let's just get him. Let's buy him. And probably put this up. Make sure that strong fort. Yeah, okay, we've actually got no rebels here now. Oh no, this is the... Oh, this is the first one that we built. Second one we built, sorry. So they're still growing. Keep those on housing then. Axe Home, that's what I wanted to be looking at. There we go. Now we can go back into workers. We should be able to get this sawmill finished. Now we're actually making some... Still got 1 unrest here. Okay, down to 1. Yeah, once we've got a Goblin Spearman up here, this will help things out. See what I mean? So there's plenty of choices to be made in the start of the game. This is a 4X game. It's a proper 4X game, and it's a fantasy 4X. And it does have a combat, you know, magic and combat focus, but you still have to be really careful about where you lay your cities. I think I was playing this more carefully. Probably what I'd done is I'd have probably just demolished this, and then I'd have sent out a settler and got one, you know, one of them a little bit closer to take advantage of the silver ore, because this silver ore is not being used here now. So, you know, this is like not a good city, but I'm probably not going to finish this game. I'm just playing it through a little bit, just to kind of talk about some of the issues that I think that, you know, that Rob was talking about. Anyway, folks, I'm going to end the first episode there. I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to play on for, but I think that, yeah, it's kind of proving an interesting way for me to kind of just talk about some of the design elements in Master of Magic. And yeah, I feel that you're going to get a really rounded view of Master of Magic if you watch Rob's gameplay and his critique of the game, which is very, very valid criticism, I think. And then, you know, you look at mine too, because I think I like the game. Rob doesn't like the game so much, and I think he wanted to like it. And I think the gist of his criticism was that if they modernized the game, you know, for modern audiences, then it would have been a better game. And I don't agree. I don't think that you can change the formula of what makes Master of Magic, particularly if you're focusing on reducing things like city spam. I just don't think that that's going to make Master of Magic a better game. I think that's going to make Master of Magic a different game. And this is a game that people still play in its original form in DOSBox 30 years on. That's how good the game design is. And it's not perfect. It's got problems, but I don't think the problems, in my opinion, I don't see the problems where Rob is seeing them necessarily. I think he kind of wants it to be a different game, and it's not. It is Master of Magic. And to Rob's credit, he did make that point. He was like, look, this is going to, you know, be for that sort of subset of fans who kind of wanted a modern remake. And he made some really, really good criticism about the way that Muha approached it with. Maybe they should have, you know, focused just on the 2D. By the way, I don't agree with him that this game looks bad. I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks really nice. I think it's a really lovely looking game. Yeah, Conquest of Ea looks better, but that had a bigger team, man. Like, Muha's small, you know. They're only a small design house, and they do really, really beautiful artwork. Their 2D artwork is, like, top notch. It's really, really good. And I like the overall presentation. I really like the UI in this game. I don't like everything about it. There's certain things that, you know, like this, all of this was all on one page before in the old game, but it looks nice. The UI is decent. It's not that same damn UI that you get in every other 4X game. It's really, it feels different. You know, it's kind of a pleasure to navigate. They are tweaking it here and there every now and again. So yeah, if you don't watch any more episodes of this, by the way, you've got the gist of my argument now. Okay, I think that Master of Magic is more complex than people give it credit for. I don't think games where you have to do lots of city management are a problem, because the way that you manage that is just by immersing yourself in the game and really leaning into it. You can manage multiple cities in different ways. So this one's my production city. This one's close to the forest, so I can use that to really bang out production. This one's the gold city where all the gold is, so I'm going to really build all the banks and, you know, all the money production stuff. This one's got a mana node, or, you know, it's got quark crystals or something, so I'm going to go for a powerhouse production. Maybe I'm playing Riak, in which case Riak will want to go for cathedrals really early on, so that he can maximize that ability that he's got that maximizes the power outputs from religious buildings. You really have to think about this game in terms of your build, and that runs really contrary to what a lot of people are saying, who just say it's like some crappy old game with old game mechanics and it's dead simple. And we actually had to reject a review from BATTLEMODE because a guy who reviewed it just basically said he did a really short review, and he didn't really look like he'd played it very much, and he kind of just said, well, you know, the game's not really complex enough for me to write more than a couple of thousand words. And I knew he'd not played it when he said that, because it's like, you cannot have that opinion of Master of Magic if you've actually played the game. Okay folks, I'm going to stop rambling. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my critique of Rob's critique and hopefully you can take it as a, you know, a supportive critique, because, you know, Rob's looking at it from one side and he's missing all my blind spots. I see some of Rob's blind spots, and I'm trying to shine a few lights on those, and perhaps between our two opinions you can get a better view of this game. I think that this is I've come round to this. I wasn't really that keen on it originally because I didn't really see what it was doing that Caster of Magic wasn't doing better, but actually now the graphics have had time to really sink in. I like the music, I like the UI, I kind of like the game. I just think Muha have made a really good job of it, and it's a shame that, you know, the reviews were mixed on release. Okay guys, take care.